All praises to the Most High God, whose true name is Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. My name is Sharat. This is my son, Banawar. We're getting into the commandments and the laws of the Torah. Lord willing, we get into all of them, but today we're going to get into the Sabbath. What we want to know is, what is a Sabbath? How to keep the Sabbath correctly so that we're making sure that we're not breaking the laws of God, right? The only way that we can do this right is by understanding it. And if we don't understand it, then we're not keeping it correctly. So let's get to it. What we're going to do is we're going to get into what the Sabbath is and what's the do's and don'ts of the Sabbath, right? So we're going to start at is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Right, remember the Sabbath day. We have to. We can't forget it. The Christian church tells us we no longer have to do it anymore, but the law is requiring that we remember it, right?
6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Right, 6 days we work, the seventh day is the Sabbath.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Right, we can't do no work on the Sabbath. Keep going.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Right, so the Sabbath is a day of rest. That's what the Sabbath is. So now did God tell us, remember he said to remember it. So did he say remember it for just a short period of time? Or is this a perpetual thing that we have to do throughout our generations, right? So let's go to Exodus 31, verse 12 to 17.
12. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbath ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your
generations. Right, it's a sign between God and the children of Israel throughout the generations, right? Keep going.
That ye may know that I am the Lord that doth sanctify for you.
Sanctify you, right?
Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth, it shall surely be put to death.
Right, everyone that defiles the Sabbath, God wants put to death. The Sabbath is not a day to be playing with and not a day to be breaking, right?
For whoever doth any work therein, that soul thou be cut off from among his people.
Right, if you're doing work on the Sabbath, your soul is going to get cut off from among his people. This is why it's important that we understand what the Sabbath is and how to keep it correctly to make sure that we're not breaking it, because God will kill us for this, right? Keep going.
6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever doth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Therefore, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a
Perpetual covenant. Perpetual meaning forever. A covenant that's forever. Keep going.
It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed.
Right. It says that this was a sign between God and the children of Israel forever. It's a forever thing that we have to do. Right. Now, it says that we have to keep it forever, all the way to the kingdom of heaven. Watch this. Isaiah 66:22 in the KJV. 22 to 23.
For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make,
right, new heavens and the new earth is the kingdom of heaven,
shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord.
Right, so we got the law telling us that forever we have to keep the Sabbath. And even in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to be keeping the Sabbath. So the Sabbath is not ever to be broken, right? So let's go to Luke, because we want to be followers of Christ. We want to follow what Christ did. So we're going to show that Christ kept the Sabbath as well, right? Start at 14 to 16.
Luke, and Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit into
Galilee,
and there went out a fame of him, through all the region round about. All he taught,
and he taught
in their
synagogues,
being
glorified
of all. And he came up to
Nazareth,
where he had been brought up, and as his custom was, he went into the
synagogue
on the Sabbath day, stood up to read.
Right, and I'm gonna need you to read louder. So on the Sabbath day, this was Christ's custom, was going to the synagogues on the Sabbath day and reading. Now, what they're going to teach us, or what the Christian church has been deceiving us by telling us, is that the law is now done away with, so this is why we don't keep the Sabbath. But let's see what Christ said, right, in Matthew 5, chapter 17.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets.
Right, Christ told us, don't think that he came to destroy the law or the prophets.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Right, so they'll say that he came to fulfill the law. So the law has been fulfilled, so we don't have to keep it anymore. But that's a false misconception of Scripture, and it's really a skilled deception to try to sway our people from keeping the laws of God, so that we're not being obedient, right? Let's see what he came to fulfill. Luke 24:44.
And he said unto them, These are the words which I speak unto you, while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the
Psalms, concerning me, concerning Christ. So the things that was written in the laws, in the prophets, and in the Psalms concerning Christ, those are the things that was fulfilled. It wasn't that the law is now done away with, right? So now, don't think that the laws has been destroyed. He didn't come to do that. Keep going, verse 18.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass one jot or one tittle,
one tittle,
shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
Right? Not one jot or one tittle going to pass from the law till all be fulfilled. And guess what? The Sabbath is a part of the law, and it's not going to pass away until all be fulfilled. Keep going.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Right? If you break the least of the commandments and teach people that they're allowed to break the least of the commandments, they're going to be called least in the kingdom of heaven. And the Sabbath is not a least of the commandment. This is a major commandment that we need to keep. Keep going.
But whoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Right? But whoever's keeping them and teaching them to do them shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Now, why wouldn't the church teach us how to be great? Right? What we want you to do is be great in the kingdom of heaven. And keeping the Sabbath is one of the commandments that we have to keep. If you're breaking it, then you're not going to be great in the kingdom of heaven. You have to keep it along with all the other laws, statutes, and commandments. So with the church, with Christian theology teaches is that after the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ, the law died with him. Right? We no longer have to keep the law after Christ died. So what we're going to show is the law being kept that the Sabbath being kept after the death of Christ, right? This is Acts chapter 13, verse 13 to 16 in the NLT. Read it on this out.
Paul and his
companions. Now we got Paul and his companions. Keep going.
Then left
Paphos
by ship for
Pamphylia,
landing at the port town of
Perga.
There John Mark left them and returned to
Jerusalem.
But Paul and
Barnabas
traveled
inland
to
Antioch and Pisidia. On
the Sabbath they went to the
synagogue
for the services.
Right? So Paul and Barnabas, Paul went to the synagogue. See, the Christians going to teach us that Paul done away with the law. We're going to read Paul and see that he done away with the law. After the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ, the laws have been done away with. But what we see is Paul going to the synagogue on the Sabbath day. Right? Now keep going.
After the usual readings from the book of Moses and the prophets.
Right, they was teaching the book of Moses, the law, right? In the KJV, it says after reading the law and the prophets, right? They're keeping the law here. Keep going.
Those in charge of the services then sent this message: brothers, if you have any word of encouragement for the people, come and give it. Right. So now the teachers in the synagogue was telling Paul, you have anything to say? Do you have any words of encouragement for the people? Keep going. So Paul lifted his hand to quiet them and started speaking. Men of Israel, he said, and you God-fearing Gentiles, listen to me. Right. So now, if the church is teaching that the Gentiles, now we can prove that the Gentiles are the Israelites that went astray, right? These were uncircumcised Israelites. They were living in other lands. They were estranged from the land and from the law. We can prove this. This topic is not about Gentiles. Let's entertain the fact that these Gentiles are non-Israelites. We see non-Israelites entertaining the fact of the Christian theology. We see Gentiles in the synagogue on the Sabbath day learning the law. So if this is after the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ, and Paul taught not to keep the law, and he was given specific instruction from Christ that we don't have to keep the law no more, and when he was given the opportunity to speak of words of encouragement,
Why didn't he rise up and say, why are you guys on a Sabbath day in the synagogue? Why are y'all teaching the law done away with? This would have been the perfect opportunity for Paul to correct the people from keeping the law when they didn't have to. But when you read throughout this entire chapter, that's not what we see. In fact, right, and this is 13, from 13 to 16. Now we're gonna go to 42 to 44. Read it in the you can read it in NLT. Read it in the KJV, because this NLT be kind of saying some stuff crazy.
And when the Jews were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath.
Right, the next Sabbath, right? So there's another Sabbath that they come in to do this. Paul had the opportunity to correct them and tell them we shouldn't be out here keeping the Sabbath, if that was true. But what we see is them keeping the Sabbath on another Sabbath, right? After Paul had the opportunity to speak. Keep going.
Now when the
congregation
was broken up, many of the Jews and
religious proselytes
religious proselytes followed Paul and Barnabas, who speaking to them persuaded them to continue in the grace of God.
Right.
And the next Sabbath day come almost the whole city together to hear the word of God.
To hear the word of God, to hear the law of Moses, right? So we have Paul keeping the Sabbath. We have Paul going up there on the Sabbath day. We're going to show that he did this as a custom, just like Christ. See, Paul was a follower of Christ, but y'all want to teach like Paul was teaching a different gospel, right? But we have to keep the Sabbath, right? Bring this out in 17:1 in the KJV.
Now, when they have passed through...
Salakia, this is Acts 17:1 in the KJV. Go ahead.
Now, when they have passed through
Amphipolis
and
Apollonia,
they came to
Thessalonica,
where a synagogue of the Jews.
Where was a synagogue of the Jews. Keep going.
And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days.
Keep going.
What is it?
And 3 Sabbath days. Reasoned them. With them out of the scriptures. Right, he reasoned with them out of the scriptures. Right, Paul was in there for 3 Sabbath days in a row. Paul was keeping these was out there in the synagogue reasoning with people through the scriptures. Right. Now we're gonna go to 18:1 in the KJV.
After these things, Paul deported from Athens and came to
Corinth,
and found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy, with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them. And because he was of the same craft, he abode them with them, and wrought for by their occupation they were tent makers. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath, and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks.
He persuaded the Jews and the Greeks. So we see Paul having a regular custom of keeping the Sabbath after the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ, right? So now that we understand that the Sabbath still needs to be kept till this day, now we have to understand what the Sabbath is and what's the requirements, the do's and don'ts of the Sabbath, so that we can make sure that we're keeping it correctly, right? So now we're going to go to Exodus 20 and 10. We're going to go back to this. Read this.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Right, so we can't work, we can't cause our animals to work, we can't cause our children to work, we can't cause our slaves or our servants to work, right? So an example that I'll use, right? Me and my family, we used to wonder whether or not it was okay to buy tickets to the movies the day before, before the Sabbath came in, and then watch it on the Sabbath. Like, we keep a lunar. We're going to prove, that we have to keep the Sabbath according to the lunar calendar. So sometimes it falls on a Gregorian Tuesday. We follow the calendar that America follows is called a Gregorian calendar. So sometimes our Sabbath will fall on a Tuesday, and Tuesdays be $5 Tuesdays at the movies, so we'll buy it before the Sabbath comes in, and then wonder if it's okay to go to the movies on a Tuesday while it is a Sabbath. But this law is telling us we can't cause anyone to work. So if we bought it on the day before the Sabbath came in, and then went on the Sabbath, we will be causing people to work. We're causing them because we're there, right? Even if we don't buy nothing there, they have to work if we're in there. So we're partaking in that, in their sin, right? So we're going to prove that we can't buy on the Sabbath. Nehemiah 10:31. We can't buy on the Sabbath because then we'll be causing somebody to work, right? Watch this. Nehemiah 10:31 in the NLT.
We also promise that if the people of the land shall bring any
merchandise
or grain to be sold on the Sabbath or on any other holy day, we will refuse to buy it every 7 years. We will let our land rest, and we will cancel all debts owed to us.
Right, so nothing could be sold on the Sabbath day. If I'm buying from you, I'm causing you to work. If you're buying from me, then I'm working, right? Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 15. Nehemiah 13 and 15 to 21 in the NLT. Bring it out.
This one?
Yes.
In those days I saw men of Judah treading out their
wine presses
on the Sabbath. They were also bringing in grain, loading it on donkeys, and bringing their wine, grapes, figs, and all sorts of produce to
Jerusalem
to sell on the Sabbath. So I rebuked them for selling that product on that day.
Right, you got to give rebuke for that. That's not. It's unrighteous. It's against the laws of God. Keep going.
Some man from Tyre, who lived in Jerusalem, were bringing in fish and all kinds of merchandise. They were selling on the Sabbath of the people to the people of Judah and in Jerusalem at that.
Keep going.
So I confronted the nobles of Judah. Why are you
profaning
the Sabbath in this evil way? I asked.
Talk louder.
Wasn't it just this sort of thing that your ancestors did that caused our God to bring this trouble upon our city.
Upon us and our city, right? Isn't this the sort of thing, if y'all buying and selling on the Sabbath, isn't this the sort of thing that brought all this trouble from God to us? You mean in our city? Keep going.
Now you're bringing even more wrath upon Israel by permitting the Sabbath to
be desecrated
in this way.
Mm-hmm.
Then I commanded the gates of Jerusalem should be shut as darkness fell every Friday evening.
Right. So here it says every Friday evening, but in the KJV it says, I charge that they should not be open till after the Sabbath. Right. Said the gates should be no burden brought on the Sabbath day. Now this is just an assertion by another translation. And when we see here, we're gonna go into the interlinear because we got to go into the Hebrew. This top here, this is the original transcript. So we go down Jerusalem before the Sabbath. There's nothing here that's telling us Friday. That's just an assertion. And we're reading another translation, like how Easter would be added to the text for Passover. It's the same thing, right? But we're going to prove that, right? Keep going.
19. Then I commanded...
No, it says not to be open.
Oh, not to be opened until the Sabbath ended. I sent some of my own servants to guard the gates, so that no
merchandise
could be brought in on the Sabbath day. The merchants and tradesmen with a variety of wares camped outside Jerusalem once or twice. But I spoke sharply to them and said, what are you doing out here, camping around the wall? If you do this again, I will arrest you. And that was the last time they came on the Sabbath.
Right. So we have to rebuke our people, and we have to control the situation to make sure that we're not in sin when when the Sabbath is here. So if it's in our home, we got to control that things isn't being done to break the Sabbath in our home, and we're not partaking in this, right? Even if we're dwelling amongst ungodly people. So let's go to Exodus 35:1, right? Because this is how we keep it correctly. We can't work. We can't cause anybody to work. We can't buy and sell, right? This is bringing God's wrath upon us.
And Moses gathered...
Read it in the NLT, sorry.
Then Moses called...
This is Exodus 35:1-3 in the NLT.
Then Moses called together the whole community of Israel and told them, these are the instructions the Lord has commanded you to follow. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the seventh day must be a Sabbath day of complete rest, a holy day dedicated to the Lord. Anyone who works on that day must be put to death. You must not even light a fire in any of your homes on the Sabbath.
So we can't work, we can't buy or sell, and we cannot light a fire in our homes on the Sabbath day. We can't light a fire in our homes to make any food, right? So now that's, let me show you something. Leviticus 23:2 is going to show us that the Sabbath is a feast day, right? So if it's a feast day, then how are we not allowed to cook on the Sabbath? And we're going to show you. So start at you.
Speak unto the children.
Leviticus 23:2 in the KJV.
Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts.
All right, speak louder. Keep going.
6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your
dwellings, right? So we see that speaking to the children of Israel concerning the feast of the Lord, and the first feast that we see being brought up is the Sabbath. If it's a feast and we're supposed to eat, that's what a feast is, then how we not allowed to cook? So let's see, Exodus 16. How do we Exodus 16 and 22 in the NLT? We're going to read till 20. So how do we reconcile this, right? Bring it up.
On the 6th day they gathered twice as much as usual. 4 quarts for each person instead of 2. Then all the leaders of the community came and asked Moses for an explanation. He told them, this is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow will be a day of complete rest, a holy Sabbath day, set apart from the Lord for the Lord. So bake or boil as much as you want today, and set aside what is left for tomorrow.
Right. So we have to bake twice the amount on the 6th day of food. We have to bake or boil, cook twice as amount of food on the 6th day to have it prepared for the 7th day, so that we can feast on the Sabbath day. Right. Keep going.
So they put some aside until morning, just as Moses has commanded, and in the morning the leftover food was wholesome and good, without maggots or odor. Moses said, eat this food today, for today is a Sabbath day dedicated to the Lord. There will be no food on the ground today, because manna fell on these 6 days. Manna fell on the 7th day. Won't no manna fall, so they had to gather twice the amount. Keep going. You may gather the food for 6 days, but the 7th day is the Sabbath. There will be no food on the ground that day.
Right. So we can't cook on the Sabbath, right? We can't work. We can't cause anybody to work. We can't buy or sell. We can't light a fire, and we can't cook on the Sabbath. Everything, all of our duties, household duties, all of our cooking and all that have to happen the day before. We have to prepare ourselves for the Sabbath. So let's go to Jeremiah 17 and 21. Jeremiah 17 and 21 to 27 in the NLT.
This is what the Lord says. Listen to my warning. Stop carrying on your trade at Jerusalem's gate on the Sabbath day. Do not do your work on the Sabbath, but make it a holy day. I give this a command to your ancestors. But they did not listen or obey. This
they stubbornly
refused to pay attention or accept my discipline. But if you obey me, says the Lord, and do not carry on your trade at the gates or work on the Sabbath day, and if you keep it holy, then kings and their officials will go in and out of these gates forever. There will always be a descendant of David sitting on the throne here in Jerusalem. Kings and their officials will always ride in and out among the people of Judah in
Chariots.
And on horses, and this city will remain forever. And from all around Jerusalem, from the towns of Judah and Benjamin, from the western foothills, and the hill country,
and the Negev,
the people will come with their burnt offerings and sacrifice. They will bring their grain offerings,
frankincense,
and thanksgiving offerings to the Lord's temple.
Right, keep going.
But if you do not listen to me and refuse to keep the Sabbath holy, and if on the Sabbath day you bring loads of
merchandise
through the gates of Jerusalem, and just as on other days, then I will set fire to these gates. The fire will spread to the palaces, and no one will be able to put out the roaring flames.
Right, so this is why we're in captivity today. This is why we have been exiled, because we've been breaking the law, statutes, and commandments and have not been keeping it correctly, even in the times when we was in Jerusalem. In the times when we was in Jerusalem, we got exiled because of breaking these commandments. And now we're in exile still breaking them. But the only way we're coming back home is by keeping them, because he said that if we kept these commandments, then he's going to have kings and officials, right? We're going to go in there forever. It's going to be a descendant of David sitting on the throne forever. You mean? We're going to be doing burnt offerings forever if we just keep these commandments. And here he's speaking about the Sabbath, right? So let's go to Isaiah 58. Isaiah 58, verse 13 to 14. And you can read this in the KJV.
If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shall thou delight thyself in the Lord.
Right, if you're not doing what you want on the Sabbath, if you're resting, you're not cooking, you're not buying and selling, if you're keeping the Sabbath holy, if you're speaking about the Most High God, right? Keep going.
And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the
heritage
of Jacob, thy father, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it.
Right, let's just keep the Sabbath. Then shalt thou find thyself delight in the Lord. The Lord is going to be delighted in you, right? So now that we understand that we have to keep the Sabbath till this day, forever, even in the kingdom of heaven, we understand the do's and don'ts of the Sabbath. We rest on the Sabbath. We glorify the Most High God on the Sabbath. We prepare the day before. We do all our household duties and our cooking the day before on the 6th day. Keep the Sabbath on the 7th day, right? 6 days you shall work. After every 6 working days, the 7th day is a Sabbath. Don't do nothing on that day. It's a day of rest, right? Now, understanding all this, now what we want to understand is what's the proper day to keep the Sabbath. So let's go to Genesis 1 and 14.
And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and or days and years.
Right? So these lights in the sky is for signs and for seasons. We're going to go to this word for seasons real quick. This word for seasons is moed, because we're going to deal with this a lot. It's the Hebrew word moed, right? So these lights in the sky for time, for signs and for seasons, for days and for years. So the Most High God created a divine calendar. He has a calendar that cannot be tampered with. So now we got to understand what these different lights do. The sun has its own divine purpose. It governs over the days, right? And the moon has its own divine purpose, and it governs over the months. So let's go to verse 15. Keep reading.
And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, and give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day,
Right, that's the sun,
and the lesser light to rule the night.
the moon.
And he made the stars also.
Mm-hmm.
And God sent them in firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth,
Right.
and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good.
One more.
And the evening and the morning were the fourth day.
Right, the evening to the morning was the fourth day. The way that we know that it's the evening is because the sun went down. Right, to the morning the sun comes up. So from the evening to the morning was the fourth day. The sun governs over the day. Right, so Leviticus 23 and 32. Leviticus 23 and 32. The evening and the morning is one day until the next evening. Once the evening comes, after that sun comes up, that's when we transition into another day. So 23 and 32. Right here. KJV.
It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month, at even from even until the even. Thou ye celebrate your Sabbath.
Right, so from evening to evening is when we celebrate our Sabbath. Right, so we're proving that the sun governs the day. This is how the Most High created the sun and the moon, to be a calendar to declare the times, right? So now now that we understand what the sun governs, let's understand the purpose of the moon. We're going to go to Psalms chapter 104 and verse 9. Read it. Salakia, verse 19.
He appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth he is going down.
Right, he appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knows it's going down. The sun knows when the day is over. Right, the sun is controlling the days. The moon is for seasons. Now we're going to go here. This is all consistent with the Torah. So the word for seasons is the same Hebrew word moed. The same Hebrew word when dealing with the lights is for signs and for seasons, for times and for years, for days, right? So the moon is appointed for seasons. Now, what is that? Let's go into that again. Let's go into what moed is for this word seasons. Appointed place, appointed time, sacred season, a set feast, right? Let's go into the Strong's definition. Time, a fixed time or season, specifically a festival. It says specifically a festival, right? Purpose, congregation, meeting, appointed sign, time, place of solemn assembly, congregation, a solemn feast, appointed due, season, synagogue, set time appointed, right? So now, here. We're going to go to Sirach 43. And 6. I read this. Sirach 43 and 6.
There is also the moon marking the passage of time, an eternal sign of the changing seasons. The moon determines the holy days. Its light grows full.
Let me get this in a KJV. Sirach 43 in the KJV. I'm going to read verse 6. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on here. Right here.
6.
Yeah.
Great is the Lord that
6.
He made the moon also to serve in her season.
Right.
For a
Declaration
of times, a sign of the word.
Right. So he made the moon to serve in her season. Right. A declaration of times. The same word moed. Keep going.
From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that is discreet. That decreaseth in her perfection.
Right, the moon is a sign of feast. The Sabbath is a feast day. Keep going.
The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully, and her changing being a instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
Right, it says the month is called after her name. Right, so let's go back over here. Now, if it's a new moon, it's a new month. The month is named after the moon. New moon, new month, moon month, right? It's all consistent with the Torah. With Genesis 1 and 14. So now let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms 81 and 3. Read this.
Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day.
Mm-hmm.
For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the God of Jacob.
Right, it's a law. It's a law of the God of Jacob. This Psalms 81. This is not the Torah. So where do we find in the law that we have to blow the trumpet on the new moon, right? Let's go to Numbers chapter 10 and verse 10. Right here.
Also in the days of your gladness and in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months, that ye shall blow with the trumpet over your burnt offerings and the sacrifices over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be the Lord
be to you
for a memorial before your God. I am the Lord your God.
Right, so it says in the beginning of your months. A new moon is a new month. A new month is the beginning of the month. So if God created the moon to give us months, right, and the sun to give us days to separate the days within that month, then God gave us a divine calendar that he created. Now the calendar that we follow today, that brothers keep on a Friday to Saturday, it's following a Gregorian calendar. And this Gregorian calendar comes from the Romans, right? Now we're going to go to Daniel 7 and 25. Salakia. We're going to go to Daniel 7 and 25 to prove that this calendar that we follow changed the times that we're supposed to be following, right? Daniel 7 and 25.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and law, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times, and the dividing of time.
Right? It said he shall speak great words against the Most High, shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be. So this fourth beast is the Gregorian calendar. Right? Watch this. Gregorian calendar. We're going to prove it. Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar is the most widely used calendar in the world today. It is a solar calendar, meaning it is based on Earth's orbit around the sun, with 12 months and a system of leap years to keep the calendar aligned with the solar year. Right? So I want to show the adoption. The Gregorian calendar was introduced by Pope Gregory the 13th in 1582 to correct the errors in the Julian calendar. I want to show the Julian calendar. All these things came from Rome. So I'm going to show that. I got to prove it to y'all. Gregorian, which is widely used. All right, let's just go to Pope. He's in Italian, Latin, right, from the Catholic Church. Right, at the age of 36, he was summoned to Rome. Salakia. Let's go back. He was summoned to Rome. It says at the age of 36, he was summoned to Rome by Pope Paul III. So this person, Pope Gregory the 13th, created the Gregorian calendar. Now, the prophecy tells us that these Romans, because in 7 and 25, this fourth beast that's going to do this is the Roman Empire. It says that they're going to change our times and our laws. They can do what they want. They can change anything that they want, but they can never change their moon. They can't change the cycle of the moon and in the sun. The Most High created this as a divinely created calendar. The way, if God has months, if the beginning of our months is the new moon, and we have to blow this trumpet on a new moon, and this is a law of the God of Jacob, then that means that the Most High has days within his divinely created calendar month, right? If we're not keeping the Sabbath on God's days of his calendar, then we're going about our own way, and we're thinking that we have a better understanding than God. Our people are making excuses, and we need to stop making excuses and come to an understanding of how to keep this Sabbath correctly, so we're not in error, and that we're not teaching people in error, so that we're not considered least in the kingdom of heaven. We have to do this right? So the Sabbath is not a Friday day, it's a Saturday Sabbath. According to the scriptures, according to the laws of God, right? The Sabbath is a feast day. The moon controls the feast days. The new moon is the beginning of the month. And within these months, we have to keep these Sabbaths. 6 days you work, the seventh day is a Sabbath. We can't work. We can't cause anybody else to work. We can't light any fires. We can't buy or sell. We have to glorify the Most High God. There's no pleasure. We can't do our own will. We have to follow the laws of God. This is why we're being punished as a nation. And this is one of the most major commandments that we break, that brings upon death upon us, along with adultery, along with a whole lot of laws that we reject and we go against, so that we can, live the life that we want to live. So all praise to the Most High God. Lord willing, brothers and sisters was edified. Y'all gained some understanding on how to properly keep the Sabbath day, and start applying it to your life, so that we can get up out of here. The Most High is going to deliver his servants. His servants are going to do his will and keep his commandments, and we're going to do it correctly, and we're going to teach people to do it correctly. So be a servant of God, and not of the money, not of the bag, not of your wife, not of your children. You have to love God first, right?
Yeah.
So with that, all praise to the Most High God. whose true name is Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. We love y'all. Turn back to the Lord, keep his commandments, and shalom.
Shalom.